Welcome, everybody, back for another podcast. I'm your host, Jake Dettinger, and I'm joined today by Mona Gustafson.
You did.
Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay. Mona's out of California. She's actually very seasoned in real estate, been a realtor for many years, and I'm excited to have her on today and to welcome her. So, Mona, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jake, for having me. This is exciting. Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. You can personally or about your real estate business, and then kind of walk us through your real estate journey.
Well, I started off. I'm dating myself now, and that's okay. In the '90s, I was in banking in customer service. I still remember the number 1-800-788-7000. You dial that number, you get me, and I was a online bank teller. And it was with American Savings Bank. Washington Mutual bought us right when I was like emerging as one of the employees that was going into their like STAR program to be an appraiser for the bank. Well, Washington Mutual, when they bought us, they could have put a kibosh on everything. They just froze any training programs. So long story short, I had to leave the bank in order to grow into that field of real estate and ended up in hard money with a company in Fresno, which just from there, I will say it just opened my world to real estate. I was doing a lot of work with realtors. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to be over there. I want to give people the keys to the house. Like I was doing the loan, I was doing all that. But there was such a satisfaction. Like I worked with these buyers and got them to approval status. And then they go out and find a home, fall in love, get in contract, it would close. And all that, I'm going to be honest, I felt like I did more work than the real estate agents. And yet they were handing over the keys. Like, wait a second. Yeah, exactly. So in 2000, so now I'm really fast forwarding. I stayed in lending for a good minute. And then finally I said, you know what? I want to get my license and become a realtor. And so I did that in 2012 and found out I was expecting. And that kind of put a halt on everything because I had to stay off my feet. So when my son went to first grade, my husband and I said, you know what? It was a good time to go back. We gave our little Michael all those informative years, the best foundation. And now he was full-time in school. Because if any of you are parents out there, you know that like preschool and kindergarten, that's like, okay, you drop them off and then you turn around and pick them up. Like, okay, maybe I could go get a cup of coffee and sit for 10 minutes. And then I'm like picking them up. And in real estate, you really have to give your all. Like some people are able to like do it part-time, but that's just not me. Like I have to give it 100%. So I waited till he was full-time in school. So then I went back to real estate and I've been loving it ever since. I thought there was because real estate, you're always learning. And I thought I had seen it all from 1990s up till 2000. At that point, it was 2019. I thought, I've seen it all. And then to come across Pace Morby, I was like, what? Record scratch, there's something more to real estate. What am I not? I'm always curious. I always say I'm a curious George. So I wanted to know more. And when who was the gentleman on Instagram? He stumped them. Oh, is that the fire alarm?
Yeah, that's the part. I was worried this was going to.
I think that's awesome. Your podcast is so hot.
You got the fire. That's what.
We're bringing the fire today, everybody. Well, I can push through it if you can push through it.
They might actually kick me out of the room here for a minute, but
okay. We'll wait till we get this out. Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah.
He's like, wait a second. What do you mean due on sale clause? I always thought that meant and Pace was just like so cool explaining that to him. That was a game changer for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And here I am. So I love Grant Cardone. I respect him. And so for him to have been stumped, I was like, who is this guy that stumped Grant Cardone? And here we are.
That is awesome. So you joined Subto in April.
June.
Oh, June. Okay.
I first came across him in April,
Okay.
and I thought, oh, I can do this and just like follow him and figure it out by doing all the YouTubes, doing his challenge, but you can't. You're going to feel, if you do all that, you still feel like there's this disconnect, like there's something I'm not getting. And then when you join, as you know, when you join the community, you're like, oh boy, was I missing out? Like I should have done this a long time ago. Yeah.
So yeah, tell us about your journey into Subto. What
I'm failing forward every day. Like,
what made you jump and take the leap?
well, I remember speaking with the organization and them telling me everything that we would get being part of the community. And I thought, I need to know more. What is this? What do you mean community? Like it's all there. You've got your lenders, you've got your agents, you have your investors. It's all there. And so they were right. And you get this kit glove service from what they call an MSA. And that's something I'll tell you right now. I don't get that from any other business coaching program out there. And I'm part of 2 others. And so I'm in 3 total. I call it my triple threat because I'm learning and growing in all of them. But PACE is pushing a lot of them to the side because you have to have blinders and you can only have one person really that you listen to, right? So PACE is it for now. And the community is so warm and welcoming. And he gives you that person to be by your side for the 60 days. That's everything. So you're going to fail because there's so much to learn and there's so many shiny objects. You know, the avatars, there's like 19, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'm a realtor, but what is my avatar? So I love how PACE really keeps you focused on where you should be and don't get that shiny object syndrome and just really dig into the training, the 6 weeks, stick to your MSA, ask questions, ask every question imaginable, connect and network, get on those Zoom calls. And if you do that, I'm telling you right now, if you just do one of those things, you're going to succeed. So for me, I had to find out my avatar. I really felt that was super important. And I look at myself as a unicorn agent. Now, have I done any transactions yet? No, but I will. The fact that you can be a realtor for 15 plus years, right? And be open to subject to be open to creative financing, you're a unicorn. I will tell you that first and foremost. You're a unicorn because your mindset, your thinking is just, it has been open to that, and you get kudos for that. You get points for that is what I want to say. So I gave myself points for even being a realtor, not saying it's illegal, not saying it's, fraud. No, you got to educate yourself. And once you educate yourself, and that's what I would say to every real estate agent out there who could be looking at this saying, well, if you don't know it, learn it, and then come back and have a discussion with us on what you were going to say it was. Know what you're talking to. So that's what I had to do, is that I'm educating myself on that. PACE is like the godfather of Subto. That's how I look at it. He's really done his homework, and he's doing the work. So some of my business people, everyone I go to as a business mentor, they have to be doing it. No more. I used to pay for people who weren't really doing what they say they're telling us to go out and do. But these 3 people that I'm with now, Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, Krista Mashore with the Mashore method, she's a real estate agent. She's doing what she preaches and practicing, right? And same with Russell Brunson. He's ClickFunnels. He's using his funnels and he is a success. And then PACE. PACE also uses his ClickFunnels and they're a success. So that's my team. That's where I'm going to build my business. And just as many people as I can share my journey. I feel like if there's one person out there that this resonates with, if they're a realtor and they're a little skeptical, well, educate yourself. That's the first part. There's plenty of out there on PACE to educate yourself on this.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that brings up a question for me. Like, now that you've come across this as an agent, would this have added and helped you get more deals in the past if you were able to go back in time, right? And would
Right.
you have been able to sell, sell more homes using creative finance?
I would have been able to help more sellers for sure.
Yeah.
And even buyers for that matter, because of the way interest rates are rising. There's a lot of, like, I have one gentleman right now, he has a 2.875 mortgage and he's kind of almost tapped out. He has a little bit of equity. So could this be something for him? Absolutely. And he's been waiting for 2 years. So had he been able to get a buyer in and done this, he could have been well on his way. So, and I just now found out about it a few months ago. So we're working with him. I'm offering to my sellers options, not just traditional, but creative. And that's what I share with them. And then they give me their mortgage statement and I'll let them know if there's other options for them that they're open to. So it definitely, I feel like we're doing a disservice as a real estate agent if we don't offer sellers options. And we say we do, and we say that to buyers, especially. Buyers have all the options because there's like hundreds of loan programs out there. But what about for the sellers? Traditional real estate, Open Door and Zillow, Zillow offers and Open Door offers, they gave options, right? But how many more options are also available outside of those traditional business models? I remember literally going into some homes and you had like and I was with my buyers who also had to sell. And they went into this house and they saw Open Door, took one of their flyers, turned around and went with Open Door. And I was just sitting down with them, signing the listing agreement. And they said, Mona, we're going to go over here. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. So I got to help them find the house, but I wasn't able to help them sell their house. Now, did they have a ton of questions for me during the selling process? Yes, because they didn't get that kid glove service from that other company. It was very confusing and overwhelming for them. So I thought, wow, sellers are now having more options. Well, guess what? Now they have even more options with creative financing. And I get to be part of that. I get to introduce it to them.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I would think that you're going to have more closings, right? Just as a result of it.
Right.
And, so I'm actually do direct to agent is one of my avatars that I've been focused on. And something I've noticed is some agents are open to it and other agents are really, really closed off to it. Like don't even want to consider it. So what advice would you give me or somebody who's trying to work with agents to try and help open them to creative finance? Is there anything?
Take them to lunch. Say, hey, I want to take you to lunch.
Okay.
I want to talk about, have a lunch and learn. We do lunch and learns. In fact, right now I'm working with local businesses in my community to do what we call a lunch and learn. And so I want to take you to lunch and learn. And you open it up like that. I don't know any realtor that would say no to a nice lunch. You build your presentation around that, for me, when I talk to other agents, because there is an agent here in Northern California that has an amazing listing, it's been really hard to sell. And I have other people in Subto saying, hey, we're looking for luxury flips. So I'm going to this agent, right? And I'm asking them, I'd like to bring you some creative buyers. And the first thing he said is, don't bring me any Subto. And I'm like, oh, I'm curious. Why would you say no to Subto? I mean, I have more options than that, but why would you say no to Subto? And I just let him talk. And now I hear all the fear, because it's fear.
Yeah.
All it is. So once you can, here's the thing, look for the bunnies. Like Pace tells us, look for some bunnies with real estate agents. Where are their bunnies? Because they have them. And then you can talk to them. I do the feel, felt, found thing. So when you let them talk, real estate agents love to talk. We do. And we like to hear ourselves talk. So use all of those things in your lunch and learn. If you get to that part where you're talking about it, tell me, what do you know about subject to or creative financing? What have you heard? I'm curious, because this is what our lunch and learn is going to be about. And I just want to go straight to the questions you might have, or some of the things you may have heard. Let them kind of lead that discussion, and then you'll know where to go with it. But yeah, lunch and learns I think would be great.
That's awesome. Awesome advice. So hopefully all of you out there can take that and apply that. I'm gonna try that. So thanks, Mona.
And you could do a group lunch and learn.
Yeah,
you could
sure.
make it a group, so it's not one-on-one. For me, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable, but they might feel uncomfortable. If you think that's part of their personality, do a group lunch and learn with realtors. And any lenders that that do creative financing, have your lender there and share that cost. A lot of lenders here. So for us, like I have lenders, they're just traditional lenders, and they actually pick up the bill for that lunch and learn, which is nice. But if they didn't, I would do it. So I'll go into a company and we offer for the employees this great home ownership path grant program. We want to talk about this grant program, how it's going to help their employees get into a home if they've been thinking about it, or if they have any questions about the home buying process. And we're going to provide lunch. What's a good time? You set that up with either the HR person or the business owner, depending on the type of business, but you can apply the same thing to your to what you're doing. And you might ask title companies for a list of agents, or what, some great Google resources are local agents in Sacramento, California, and you're going to get a ton of them. And
that's awesome. Great advice. So
let me know how it works. I'm excited to know.
I'm definitely gonna try that out. So
yeah.
So okay, so you're an agent, and now you're becoming a unicorn agent, right? Are there other avatars you're focused on, or is do you think that's your avatar? That's what your future is?
That's a good question. I feel like as an agent, a unicorn agent, we are closers. We are direct to seller. That's a given. Like, I'm constantly working with my buyers and sellers. I'm also farming my area. I have a title company I work with. I have several, and I pull farm packages. And that's been something that I've had other Subto students ask, well, what's a farm? And so basically a farm is like a geographical area that your local title company can pull data and information. So for instance, I want to know in 95758, my zip code, how many non-owner occupied units homes are there in that zip? Because that means those are renters, right? And I want to know where the sellers are. So maybe those sellers, I can start marketing to them and taking those homes, turning them into, listings.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can now target those addresses and send those renters cards, postcards on for direct mail on why they should be, owning the dream of home ownership and not renting the dream, right? So I can market to both of those, the seller and that renter inside the house. So that's a farm. And if you do that for like a good year, you should see a return on your investment, either through buyers or you're going to get some listings. And so you can pay for those names and emails and phone numbers as well. And so, for instance, I just recently did a farm, and I then put that query into a list where I can buy right from the title company. And it was like, oh my goodness, I think I spent $4.88 to get the emails and phone numbers. So now I'm dialing dollars, right? Now I'm dialing and emailing them for $4.88. Or you can go to a company, and there are companies out there that will sell you, but they're going to charge you a lot of money. So I kind of do the footwork myself, and then I'll hire a mom friend who's just as eager to, she might be a stay-at-home mom, and I have my list, and then they will dial for me. And I train them, I work with them, and I let them know like what I'm looking for on the phone, best practices when you're talking to someone, and how not to sound like you're a realtor, right? Because you need a license to talk about certain things. So I'm also educating anyone who is dialing for me so that we stay compliant and the do not call list and all that. So, or you can hire someone. And I know there's some great resources in the community on that. So I am going to be taking advantage of that.
Okay.
When you're a real estate agent, you're kind of on an island by yourself. You really are. Now you're with the PACE community. Now all of a sudden things open up. I feel like I'm part of a family and all the resources. So I don't want to sound like I, but that's why when it came to that avatar, I really like took my time with it because I saw myself being a few, but PACE says, hey, pick one. So I picked the unicorn agent. That's what I want to really come into and then help other agents to become creative in their approach to their business model.
Oh, that's awesome. I agree with you. I think just naturally as an agent, you fit as a closer, as direct to seller. You're already doing those, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think eventually all of us, yeah, we start maybe focus just on one, but we really probably have a couple that really just fit us. So that's awesome. So what kind of, I mean, I assume you're trying to build a portfolio now, or maybe you already have gotten started. What does that look like? What type of portfolio are you trying to build, and what markets are you focused in?
So it's interesting. My husband's a math teacher, so he's all about his pension or his retirement, right? And that's why I said when you're in real estate, we have this like entrepreneurial spirit. So he and I are like opposites. So when you're, I'm just keeping it real. When you're married, my husband and I talk. And so we have our goal. If I want to go build my real estate portfolio, there's some goals that we have as far as, my business. I'm a corporation. There's some debt there. Pay it off. Build a savings. Build that. And then you can go out and start buying properties. That was always the goal. So now that I'm part of Pace Morby's community, I am going to stay in this lane where I am going to truly just be a unicorn agent, help in writing that contract and maybe getting that commission. And once I reach my personal goals with me and my husband, then I can venture out and go and start building the real estate. So I have given myself 1 year. 1 year of hard work, dedication, then I can go out and get my first property. Not buy it. Do you see how I almost said buy it? Because before it was buy. I didn't know any other way. Before I can take on any a subject to property or even fix and flip or wrap or hybrid, right? So a good 1 year. So I'm going to really just stay in that lane, get that commission or assignment fee, whatever that looks like. And then, in a year. So I'm giving myself a year.
Awesome. Are you going to be focused in your market that you're currently
Yes.
working as an agent?
Yes, I'm going to be focused in California. There's so much here in Sacramento. Because here's what happened. When COVID hit, everyone from the Bay Area and down south, it's so expensive. They're moving up here because you get land with your property, right?
Yeah.
If new home builds in this Sacramento area and surrounding, you don't get land with new builds. But there's plenty of inventory resale properties where you can get a 1/4 acre or more. And it's still at a great price. So I want to focus here because it's close to home. I love home. I've really learned that in real estate, if you're going to be a successful agent, you have to know your market. So until I can speak to Ohio or Florida or New York or anywhere, that's just me. That's just my personality. Like I need to know what I'm selling.
Yeah.
And I need to be able to educate my buyers and my sellers. And if I don't know the market, that's just going to handicap me. So there's more to learn to that. I always keep I say that, but there's so much more to learn about this community that maybe I'm missing something. But I just know right now there is a huge, there's so many learning curves. Like I know what I want to learn, can take on. And right now I just know, I know this market, the Central Valley, Northern California, I know.
That's awesome. Well, I imagine, you've already established your lead flow. So once you decide to get going, you have first dibs, right? Of stuff that you're already generating. So
And I have buyers who became sellers, and now they're sellers, and they want to buy that next property, or they want to buy investment. I'm sharing this with them. I'm sharing the community. I'm sharing, hey, have you heard of Pace Morby? Go Google them. Because if you want to get into real estate or build your wealth, you can do it. And I'm being honest. I mean, I feel like when you're honest with people, I could either go and find property for them and sell it to them, or I could, it's kind of like I could teach them how to fish, right?
Right.
That saying, I'm horrible with that. I'm horrible with those sayings, but I could go out, okay, let me go look for some inventory for you for your next house. And let's go have you talk to the lender. But they could do this themselves. And I just feel like I'm cheating them out of something, and knowing how this can change someone's life. I know how it's going to change my family. I want that for I truly mean, I want that for any buyer who is now a seller of mine. When they come to me and they talk to me, and I have one mom, she actually had surgery. She's like, I'm going to go look up Pace Morby as I'm recuperating in my she's having knee surgery. And I said, do it. And let's talk in a week. So, cause she wants to buy investment properties. I'm like, she should be doing it the Morby way. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So is your approach a little bit different now that
Totally.
You're educated on creative finance, right? Do you automatically just start looking at other options as a seller comes to you and wants to sell their house? Are you now like, well, actually this is probably a better option for you in this case?
It's an automatic now. Yes. Awesome. It is automatically like, I'm going to look at your options, and creative is very important as a seller because of where interest rates are, because of how buyers are, don't have access. Maybe it's going to open up more buyers for you. So I'd love, with your permission, to be able to look at all the options. Can I get a most recent mortgage statement from you? And they're like that, because I've built that rapport with them. They will give me that mortgage statement. And we go from there.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting.
It is.
I'm excited for you and your future here. And when you start building your portfolio, you hit your goal next year. So
I got started with Pace, and then had total remodeling on my house done. And it was supposed to be a 3-day that turned into a month. So I'm getting past this, but every day I say, what is one thing I'm going to do to fail forward? and I keep pushing that needle closer and closer. And there's no way you can fail if you just, stick close to what Pace is saying and follow his curriculum. There's no way to fail. Fail forward.
Yep. Taking perfect action every day.
Perfect action every day. Yeah.
Imperfect. Yep. Well, final questions. I think it's a given. What value can you provide to others? But I guess in that same vein, what are you looking for? How can other people in the community help you? And I think we've heard a lot of the value you can provide to them. So, but what are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for anyone who wants to buy here in California, who wants to buy in this area. I think it's, there's so many. Here's the thing. California gets a bad rap. And yes, a lot of it's true, but are we still buying and selling? Yes. So there are opportunities here. And if you want an agent who knows this market, who will do due diligence, keep you updated on the market, and do the CMAs, and make sure that, you're getting a great deal in communication, I would love to work with you. For me, because I'm new to Subto, I really feel it's important to have a positive, open mind. So that's what I bring. And I feel like we're all kind of like realtors. The way we've had to build our business as a realtor is through lead generation, right? Knowing our community, knowing how to do a CMA. And that's what I do every single day. So I can bring that to the community on some of the things, and how, where I go, like title companies, not all title companies are the same. Pace has a list. His organization has a list of recommended title companies. And do you know, for the first time, I called every single one of them. And I'm working with one right now. And they love Pace. They love his organization. And they are helping me in so many ways. So I say go to all those resources, tell him you're with Pace's organization, and stick close to his community. I've had people outside of the community who know I'm part of Pace who come and say, hey, we'd love to work with you. And my first thing out of my mouth is, are you actually a sub-2? And I check if they're a sub-2 person. And for me, just being new right now, I'm not that savvy. So some students can work outside of the community, but right now for being a newbie, I am sticking close to Pace. I'm like, he's like that hand and I'm like underneath that wing. It's like, I want to learn everything I can in this community before I can go outside. So yeah.
Perfect. Man, my market's not in California, but you almost convinced me to work with you.
Oh.
To work in your market.
I'll say this. I don't want all your business, just some. Just one deal. So
okay. I would definitely, if you are in California market, I would encourage you to link up or connect with Mona, because man, I think she is gonna seriously add some value to you. So how can people connect with you?
They can connect through Subto, if you're a member, Mona Gustafson, and my number is 916-544-2342. I probably should have put that in my number there in the title, but I'll be better for next time.
Awesome. Well, man, it's been a pleasure, Mona. I really enjoy getting to know you and hearing about your journey. And man, you have a lot of value, and I think you're going to kill it here. I know within a year you're going to meet your goal, and you're going to just start killing it with your own portfolio too. So
thank you. I can hardly wait. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I'm excited to, see what comes out of this and our group. And have been so helpful. And this was just absolutely a treat. Thank you for letting me share.
Well, thank you, Mona. And thanks everyone for watching.
Have a good day.